Welcome back to the Oxendine Law Podcast. Jarrod and Christine here, your favorite host and co-host. And we are going to get real today. Let's say you've hired your divorce attorney. You're asking yourself, what does my lawyer actually do? And how can they help me? So we're going to answer those questions, tell you what to expect or what you should expect from your divorce attorney, all the way from the initial consult, all the way to the end of your case. So let's dive right in, Christine. Let's start with the initial consultation. What should somebody expect to receive and get during their initial consultation, which is their first meeting with the divorce attorney that they're thinking about hiring?
Right. That's an excellent question because a lot of times they don't know what to expect either. So, what I like to do with initial consultation is I'm kind of interviewing the client just while they're interviewing me. We're not going to solve all your problems in the initial consultation. I'm probably not even going to be able to tell you exactly what my case plan would be in the initial consultation because I've got to find out a lot of information. A lot of times people sit down and they just start asking me, what are we going to do about the house? I'm really worried about the house. What are we going to do about the house? Okay, that answer is always, it depends. So be calm through your initial consultation. Remember that Jarrod and I, or any attorney you're meeting with, we do this all day, every day. So let me gather the information that I need to give you the proper advice and the proper direction. Yes, at the end, I'm going to take time to answer your questions, but I need to know certain information to be able to give you advice. So don't come in expecting that you're going to be dictating the entire conversation. Most importantly, I'm interviewing you to find the information that I need to give you some general and basic answers. And by the end of the consultation, I'm going to be able to tell you a lot of generalities about how I think things are going to go. But also remember, I'm not going to be down to numbers and schedules to the T in initial consultation because the answer to everything is it depends. If it was that easy, you wouldn't even need us attorneys. So I have to gather a lot of information before I can really give you a lot of information. So for that first consultation, be patient. Let me get what I need, and then I can give you advice. And then after that, you're probably going to have way less questions. But if you do have remaining questions, that's what I'm here for.
Yeah, and I'm going to go ahead and bust a myth. A lot of people are always like, what do I need to bring to my initial consultation? And there's an easy answer. You just bring yourself.
Nothing. Right.
You know your family, you know your kids, you know the environment, and either you have a general idea of what the assets are or you don't have a clue. And either way is okay because we can find out answers to what the assets are and what they're worth if you don't know. So just bring yourself. Don't feel like you've got to do spreadsheets or write out stories or bring copies of documents or evidence. Just bring yourself. Trust me, you'll be able to tell your story. Now, it sounds like Christine and I are somewhat similar in our approach to initial consultations. I'll tell you what you can expect with me. You come in, I will gather information just like Christine does. So I'll get information from you from your perspective, what is the reason for the divorce? I'll let you tell me a little bit about that. If you have kids, I'll have you tell me about your kids, who's historically been the primary caretaker. We'll find out about where you work, where your spouse works, how much money you make. I'll get a general listing from you as to what the assets are and what you think they're worth. And then at the end, I'll say, in your perfect world scenario, what is your wish list? What do you want out of this divorce? Okay. And then from there, I will actually give you a very detailed assessment of what I think your likely outcome would be. Now, some things are going to be spot on. Some things I'm going to say, I can almost guarantee that this is what your outcome is going to be for a certain circumstance or a particular situation. But like Christine said, there are going to be other things where we're going to say, it could be this, it could be that. It may be more likely than not this or more likely than not that. So some things are a little more gray area, but the good part about the gray area is I know what your goals are.
Right.
And if your attorney doesn't know what your goals are, by the time they're done having that initial consultation with you, you should probably go hire somebody else because those gray areas, if you don't know what your client wants, then you can't ever get out of the gray. You're always going to be able to tell them, well, I don't know. We'll have to see what happens. Actually, there's things we can do to make it more likely that you get what you want out of that gray area if we know what you want. So I'm going to go through the issues, tell you what you can expect as far as the outcome is concerned. I'm going to tell you exactly how the process works. And then more importantly, I'm going to go over with you what I think the strategy needs to be on how we're going to handle your case because every case is different. We are going to customize a strategy for your case based on what we think is best for you and what gives you the best chance at getting what you want out of the case. And then at the very end, I'm going to ask if you have any questions and answer all of your questions. So when you meet with an attorney, at least in our office, and frankly, you should expect this from any attorney you meet with, you should walk out of that consultation having a really good understanding of how the process works, what likely outcomes are, and what strategy is going to be taken in your case to get you across the finish line. If you don't have answers to those questions, you should go have another consultation with somebody else. So that's what you can expect in our office as far as the initial consultation. Now, the next question may be, okay, so what do lawyers do? And this may seem like an obvious question, but it's really not so obvious. We do a lot of stuff where we wear a lot of hats, actually, as divorce attorneys. We're your lawyer, we're your best friend, we're your counselor, we're somebody that's a shoulder to cry on if you need to cry on somebody's shoulder. But obviously, we're handling legal parts of your case mostly. So we are drafting pleadings. We're filing everything that needs to be filed on your behalf. You don't have to draft the pleadings and file them. We do that for you. If there's a court appearance that needs to take place, we are preparing for that court appearance. We're getting you prepared for that court appearance, and we're advocating on your behalf. We are having communications with the other side or opposing counsel and with the court. We're handling scheduling matters. We're doing everything so that you don't have to worry. And when we need your involvement, we will get your involvement and we will make sure that you are fully informed and fully participate in the process. So that's kind of what we do, at least at Oxendine Law, as lawyers in your divorce case.
Sure. And I think that a lot of times I gauge every client individually. How involved or uninvolved do you really want to be in my day to day? I have clients who, if they haven't heard from me in a week, they're just like, well, can you give me an update? And I'll tell them, as I explained before, we're in our 30-day waiting period. There'll be no update for approximately 30 days. Okay, well, I just needed to hear that. And that's fine. I'm happy to do that. If you're the kind, I had a client years ago, I think it's still on one of my Google reviews. He called it his Monday morning update. And every Monday morning, I got an email from this client. And I would say most Mondays, my response was, everything's still good. And if he heard that, that's fine. So there are those clients who want weekly or biweekly interaction, even if there's no news to share.
And
Then
that's okay.
it is, and I can accommodate that without any problem at all. Then I have clients who are like, I really don't want to hear from you unless you have to. Like, number one, they're either just busy and they don't want their divorce to consume their life. Yes, it is a very important thing that's going on, but you can't stop the world from spinning because you're in a divorce action. Everyone knows these are going to take a couple months up to maybe even a year. So you're not going to lose a year of your life because of a divorce action. So unless you need me, leave me alone respectfully. And when you need me, reach out. But otherwise, I'm going to assume you've got it handled. Everything's under control. No news is good news. So I just talk with my client and gauge what level do you want your interaction to be? And whichever one it is, we're going to accommodate it.
That's right. And so what Christine's saying is very important to listen to your client. Everybody wants different things. Frankly, everybody wants different approaches also on how they want their case to be handled. Some people are like, I don't care about turning over every single rock and every single stone. I have a general idea of what's there. I don't need you hiring private investigators and experts. I just want to get this done behind me as quickly as possible for the best result you can get me based on the information we've got. Other people are like, I want Rambo litigator. I want aggressive representation. I want depositions. I want max discovery. I want you to turn out all the stops. And that's okay too. Now, what we're not going to do is just blindly run into that Rambo litigation mode, because why? We're doing you a disservice. What we're going to do is say, okay, we hear you, right? You've given us free rein to do anything we need in this case to get you the best result possible. But here are the things that we're recommending that you do.
Yeah.
And here's other things that we'll do if you just really want us to do it, but we really don't think it's going to add any value to your case. At the end of the day, the client gets to make the decision. But at least at our firm, and what a good attorney should do is when they hear somebody says, I want you to make them pay, I want them to feel pain, I want you to pull out all the stops, we're going to say, okay, we hear you and we can do that. But here's a list of things that we think you should do. Here's the things that we think you should maybe do. Here's the things that we don't really think we need to do at all. But if you really want that ounce of flesh, we'll do them. That's when your attorney is listening to you. And that's what you should expect in representation with the right type of divorce attorney. So the last thing we'll talk about today is, how do you choose the right divorce lawyer for you? And we've kind of covered some of that. But I will tell you, every divorce attorney has a different style. Every divorce attorney has a different way of doing things. Every divorce attorney has a different way to communicate. And frankly, naturally, we're people too. Everybody has different personalities.
Sure.
So, how do you choose the best attorney for you? Frankly, I think you should have, if you don't feel great after your first consultation, you should have another consultation because there's going to be stark contrast and differences, not only maybe even the advice that you get, but also the style of the attorney. So, at the end of the day, you should go with somebody who you feel has fully heard you, has given you a chance to be heard, has given you a very clear roadmap and explanation of what you can expect as far as the outcome is concerned and what you can expect as far as how the case will be handled. And they've given you a clear way on how we're going to get from point A to point Z. Importantly, also go with somebody that you mesh well with.
Mhm.
If you think you're going to clash with the personality of that attorney, it's probably not the right attorney for you. So if I'm hiring an attorney, those are the boxes that I'm looking to check on determining how to hire the right divorce attorney for me.
Yeah, I always tell clients that the number one thing to look for is who inspires confidence. If you've talked to 2 or 3 different people, there may even be somebody that you maybe like better, as in, "Oh, they seem like they would be cool to have a beer with." But did they inspire confidence in their abilities? But you also don't wanna go with someone who just is like, "Oh, I know how to do this. I know what I'm doing. Let me handle it." Like, you need that balance. You need to connect on a friendly level so that you trust them like you would trust a friend, but you also need to get the feeling that, wow, they know way more than I do about this. There needs to be some level of, dang, like they really are confident in what they're doing. And most importantly, explanation. Get an attorney who will explain it to you. I can't tell you how many times I've taken over a case from a previous attorney and the client says, they just kept saying, just, I got it. I'll handle it. That's what I'm here for. Or you don't need to understand the law. You're not a lawyer. If they're not explaining it, chances are it's because they don't really know the answer. So I will explain it in 5 different ways until you understand it. But do get an attorney that's going to offer you the explanations because you need to be educated. Knowledge is power and all of these things. And the more you know about the divorce process and like what judges look for, the better you'll be able to conduct yourself on a daily basis. I can't write every text message and email for you. I can't be at every custody exchange and talk you through how to interact with the other parent. So, as if you're educated and I've explained to you not just what I want you to do, but why I want you to do it, you're better every day when you're interacting and you're going about your daily life at setting yourself up for success and the ultimate at the end of your case, not just about custody, but even about whether it's a business or your house, right? I'm going to give you some advice probably about, let's go ahead. Like, I've looked at the paperwork. Probably neither one of you can afford this house after the divorce. Let's start thinking about selling now. So you don't have to put it on the market today, but let's start, that little hole in the bathroom wall. Let's go ahead and get that done. Maybe we'll get a little paint done. Let's do some landscaping about this time. So get someone who's working with you, not just for you, and definitely not against you.
I'm just going to come out and say it. Having the right divorce attorney really can make a huge difference in your case. If you have more questions about this episode or any other of our episodes, feel free to reach out. We would love to answer your questions. And of course, be sure to hit that subscribe button so that you don't miss out on any of our future episodes. As always, thanks for hanging with us. We look forward to speaking with you next week.